Hello to all you Patriots out there in podcast land, and welcome to episode 100 of Canadian Patriot Podcast, number one podcast in Canada. We're recording on Monday, October the 2nd, 2017.
I'm Tim. I'm a sports shooter, father of three, and the owner and operator of Tim's Good T-shirts. They're quite good. I'm also a descendant of beer-drinking immigrants.
I'm Marty, hunter and sports shooter in rural Southern Ontario.
As always, my name is Andrew. I'm a recovering libertarian, a competitive shooter, and a firearms instructor at Ragnarok Tactical. We'd love to hear your feedback about the show. Please visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com/feedback, or you can email us at feedback@CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. The edited version of the show is available on Stitcher and iTunes, and there are links in the show notes that I'm not going to read.
All right, with Gavin out, who does this?
I literally just did Gavin's bit.
You do your part.
Oh, okay.
We're so
I'm
good
also
at
not
this.
paying attention. By the time we do like 100 episodes of these, we'll get it down.
It will be smooth as butter.
All right, as always, you can check out the podcast at facebook.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast, Instagram at instagram.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast.
Now I'm Tim, a sports shooter, father of three, and the owner and operator of Tim's Good T-shirts. They're quite good. It's for those of you who aren't paying attention. I just got twice the commercials for the same price. We need your help to support the show. Visit www.patreon.com/CPP and become a Patreon. You can get the uncensored audio version of the show for just $1 per episode, and the more you pledge, the better the rewards are.
All right, let's do. What are we drinking? Marty, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Liquorman's Old Dirty Canadian Whiskey with Coke Zero.
Nice.
Sounds filthy.
And does it meet your expectations on exactly how bad it was going to be?
Yeah, so I definitely expected it to be a lot worse than it is. It's actually surprisingly good.
Right? It is surprisingly good.
Is that like you save
It's
like
not-
100 labels and you get a Liquorman's badge? Stand back for I'm a Liquorman.
It seems to be loosely related to the Trailer Park Boys.
Okay.
I don't
better than
actually know what the association is, but
A Liquorman.
What are you drinking, Tim?
I'm drinking Coors Banquet in stubby bottle form.
That is the best way to drink Coors Banquet.
Yes. Harkens back to a better time.
Coke Zero, because I have Jameson and Coke Zero, so that's what there is. Let's go into the news. First thing, the story that's not making the news anywhere, we have updates on the gas plant trial in Ontario. So for everybody out in podcast land, you might remember that Dalton McGuinty resigned his premiership of the province of Ontario. They've subsequently brought charges against his chief of staff and deputy chief of staff regarding the gas plant scandal and the alleged, I got a button for that,
allegedly
deleting all of the emails. So in an interesting turn of events, the Crown expert witness has been declared to not be allowed to be a witness. So I'm not sure what this is going to do with the Crown's case, but the fellow that they were planning on calling as their expert witness for cyber forensic stuff, e-crimes and forensic data, was a former Ontario provincial police officer who was assigned as hired back to the OPP as a consultant and assigned to the task force for dealing with the
allegedly
deleted data. Unfortunately, it looks like he may have somewhat colored his impartialness, and the judge has declared that he may not give testimony on behalf of the Crown. You guys have things to say?
yeah. So I mean, essentially, from what I saw, the big issue was that he sent in communications to the investigators like an email that said, "We got him," because of some information that he discovered in his role. And because he said sort of "we," it implied that he was not being impartial and was working together with the investigators. That was the there's some other things like he was involved in he was there for some questioning and things like that. But the key linchpin apparently for turning it where they stopped allowing him to be a witness was that email where he used the word "we."
Well, and I agree, because what does that do other than show his enthusiasm to catch people who wasted what is it? It's $10,000-$20,000, Marty.
Yeah, it was something like definitely in the low thousands that was wasted for sure.
Wait,
Yeah.
it's billions, isn't it? Thousands or billions?
Yeah, billions.
Okay.
Unfortunately, is it ever low thousands when I talk about government?
No, unless you're talking dollars per plate.
Well, yeah, that's how much a ticket is to meet with the shiny pony.
So that's what I guess what he would, when he showed enthusiasm for cracking down on people who wasted billions of dollars of taxpayer money. I guess that was his big crime, and now he was involved in the in the investigation, and now he's not allowed to testify. It just shows that the system works.
Yeah. Well, and it makes you wonder, like the judge that determines that he's not allowed to testify. I'd be curious to know who that judge's boss is.
There's probably no way to know.
Yeah.
No, I would
Definitely would
imagine
be,
there was. Right, like he was assigned to the INEST team or whatever their cybersecurity investigative force is.
The judge?
Oh, sorry, no, not the judge. The retired cop acting as the expert witness, acting as the forensic investigator.
No, we're talking about the judge that made the decision that this guy can't testify.
Well, okay, that's a whole other problem, right? Because this is the government investigating the government, and the government found they did nothing wrong.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Yeah,
that's what we were implying here.
We'll never know who pays the judge, so we'll never know where the judge's loyalties lie. So that's the real shame. We've hit a brick wall with this investigation.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure we just shouldn't have the government investigating the government. Also, that we shouldn't have the government.
Yeah. Well, that's like your opinion, man.
The government in this town is excellent and uses your tax dollars efficiently.
I had a better drop, but I can't find it, so you'll have to settle for that one.
That'll do.
Yeah. The solution to and cause of all of life's problems.
Pretty well. I am disappointed, not surprised, but I am disappointed by our mainstream media, but that the only coverage that the gas plant trial is getting is that the key, I almost said eyewitness, he's not an eyewitness, the key expert witness has been disallowed from testifying because of a conflict of interest. Which, I mean, hello pot, this is kettle.
But that's like you know what I mean? That's a judgment call. So
well, and it was made by a judge.
Yes. Oh.
Oh. Yeah, no, it is a judgment call.
Right, I mean, there in the name.
I can see why that they would disallow him from being an expert witness since he was directly involved in the investigation, and based on what's in some of the articles, it looks like he may have been on a particular team while he was doing the investigation, but you would think that they could maybe get some other data security, forensic data analysis person to be willing to testify as an expert witness, that it wouldn't come down to the guy who found the email for the police. Like, you would think the Crown prosecutors would be able to come up with like one other reputable expert witness in cybersecurity.
Yeah, but it doesn't discount his like the fact that he's correct. Like it doesn't discount you. You're not. You can't. Yeah.
There.
His expertise is still there. In fact, like he's practiced it while during the investigation, and you just to assume that he's impartial, or that he's not impartial, is ridiculous. But we all know what this is.
They're on a 2-week break. Hopefully, the Crown prosecutors get their shit together and they can find somebody else to testify that the Liberals under McGuinty did, in fact, waste a lot of money. So much money. Wasn't there another trial going on?
Okay.
Didn't Wynne just have to testify at something else? There was the gas plant and there was something else they were on trial. Election fraud, right? That was the other one?
Yeah, there's 2 MPs under investigation as well. Or MPPs, sorry.
Yeah. Funny how none of that stuff's getting hardly any attention in the mainstream media. Oh, crap. Gavin's here. Hey, Gavin, how's it going?
Good. Greetings, gentlemen. How are you?
Great. Good, good. We've covered some stories. What are you drinking?
Unfortunately, nothing right now, but I was drinking.
You're dead to me. Dead.
Go fix yourself.
Spreckets Hefeweizen. I had just put back a few.
That doesn't sound like a thing.
Apparently, it's a thing up here in Wisconsin.
Oh, exciting. Okay, so we were just getting into the minimum wage update.
No, well, I'm going to
Coming
just
to
sign
all-
off right now. I'm triggered enough already.
Coming to us all the way from the Huffington Post, TD Bank has released a new estimate that the too fast minimum wage increase in Ontario will now cost 90,000 jobs. Longtime listeners from last week may remember that it was previously estimated at 50,000 jobs. So that's a bit of an increase.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah, well, it's just like mild deficits.
Yeah. Can't do math at any other time. Why would they be able to do math now?
Well, okay, so this is coming from a report from TD. There is some interesting statistics in this. Obviously, Ontario has the highest minimum wage. Alberta also has an incredibly high minimum wage. Alberta also used to have an incredibly high median income, but less so since the last couple of elections in that province for some reason.
Huh. Weird.
Apparently, once the new minimum wage comes into effect, the number of minimum wage employees in Ontario will grow from 11% to 30% of all workers, which will be pretty good since we're going to cut 90% or 90,000 workers out of the labor pool. So as long as you get to keep your job, you'll make more money, probably.
But you'll have to pay more in taxes.
And
rising interest rates, higher CPP premiums, the new carbon pricing scheme, increased electricity costs.
goods will cost more also. Goods and services?
Yeah.
Zero taxes.
Yeah.
Zero taxes basically double.
Yeah.
But
So as long as you can keep
from the
your
hard
job,
outwards.
make more money, I think, unless you don't make more money. Because this is just going to drive more small businesses to not hire or to hire fewer people or to keep me employed by replacing actual people with automation, which I'm fine with because I'm really good at that job.
But hopefully a robot won't be better at that job than you.
No, I replace people with robots, not the other way around. I, for one, welcome our new robot overlords.
We the robot overlord now.
Yeah, I mean, I already see this in low-skill manual labor type jobs. That's what I write automation stuff to replace, because we can make robots that are less expensive than an employee and are always there and always work and never call in sick and don't have payroll taxes. And I just see that applying to more and more jobs as time goes on. We already see that in retail with the self-checkouts and with fast food services now with the kiosks that McDonald's has and other fast food restaurants. Like, we're just going to eliminate all the low-skill manual labor, call it initiative jobs, and just replace it all with the customer can do it themselves through the use of some kind of a console or tablet or computer system.
So
or
you're
we'll
saying
just have fewer people to do those tasks.
So you're saying it doesn't take a whole lot of skill to punch things into a computer screen or move boxes from A to B?
Yeah, funnily
Weird.
enough, I can teach an end user to punch the button on the checkout just the same as I can teach a high school student to punch the button on the checkout. I don't have to pay my customers, so guess which one I'm picking?
Yeah, your customers pay you.
And who this really hurts is the youth. You know what I mean? It is those high schoolers that are looking for their first job to get some experience in the workforce and, you know, get that part-time job and things like that. Because that's the jobs that are being replaced. And so there's no longer is that entry-level job where you learn just to, you know, to show up on time and to put your work in and just learn those basic skills of being an employee.
Well, yeah, like it's that whole problem, like when you're trying to find a job that you can't get a job because you don't have experience, and you can't get experience because no one will give you the job. These are those jobs that you get some experience at because you don't need experience to enter things into a screen at McDonald's.
Yeah, or like cashier at the grocery store and thing. You know, it's not just the fast food. Like there is, you know, this is affecting you know retail and you know all of these sort of traditional entry level positions that are affected by this.
Well, it's okay. People that still have jobs will get $15 an hour. It'll be fine, I'm sure. Tim, do you want to take the next one? It's the middle class taxes. I think you found this one first.
Oh yeah, the old the Fraser Institute, which always has some excellent articles. If anyone wants to kick around the Fraser Institute, whenever you see like a link on Facebook or someone posts something for the Fraser Institute, you can pay attention. They're very impartial and they're usually very good.
Some might say they're very, very good.
Very, very, very good. Yes.
Not fake news.
Yes. The Fraser Institute has said on September 27th that the Trudeau government has raised income taxes for the majority of middle-class Canadian families.
What? I was assured that would not happen.
No, he said he was going to strengthen them.
No, who told you that? I want their name.
I was expressly promised as part of the election campaign that...
Trudeau has repeatedly, in question periods, stated that the Liberal Party has lowered taxes for the middle class. He said it repeatedly.
Did he say, like, the majority of the middle class or the minority of the middle class?
No, he said the middle class. Like,
did he say anything more than...
all-encompassing.
Yeah. Did he say anything more than 19% of the middle class? Because if he said that they
didn't... He wasn't specific about it, but he definitely implied that it was, you know, all of the middle class. There was no...
Okay, well, I'll tell you this. If he said...
I'm confused now here.
Yeah, well, I'm going to clear it up. If he said that he lowered income taxes for the middle class, and he said anything more than 19% of the middle class, then he's wrong. He's... you could even go so far as to say he's a liar. It's because what the Fraser Institute has found that is that 81% of the middle class Canadians, which is people with incomes above $45,916 and lower than $91,831, are paying an average of $840 more on income taxes per year.
That does not seem like a decrease.
No, that seems more like that's like $80 a month, man.
But if I'm paying more, how did he lower my taxes?
Common Core mathematics.
Ah, okay.
It's the new math.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where like you don't have to get the right answer, but as long as you
show your work,
intended the right answer, then it's correct.
I think it's like when you were a kid and you were afraid of something at night and you cover your eyes and if you didn't see it, it would disappear to your mind.
And the budget will balance itself.
Maybe it's something like that.
It'll disappear, just like a deficit.
Yeah.
That is the budget is lava.
Yeah. The floor is a balanced budget.
Yeah.
I do disagree a little bit. We've talked about the numbers before. I do disagree a little bit about what the Fraser Institute is calling the middle class because it's not. I don't think the numbers are entirely accurate. They're talking about 80% of families, which is important to clarify families. So this is couples or single parents with dependents under the age of 18. And those couples making between $77,000 and $108,000 a year. So these are people that they consider to be in the middle class, which I don't think is factually accurate based on how the middle class rate is calculated. Right, so we've talked about that before, but
at least they give you the criteria, right? Like, so you can make an educated decision as to whether you think that number is too many people or not enough people. They give you a bracket at least.
Well, okay, so those are the 80% that Tim is talking about, where these people are now paying $800 and change more annually on their taxes. Yeah. Then we also have a breakout with the lower middle class, which is closer to the actual calculated statistical middle class that we talked about before, and that's those families that are making between $52,000 and $77,000 a year, and they're still paying $380 more annually on average. So they're
it's not
regardless of how you slice the middle class up, it's still costing them more money.
That's like two T-shirts a month.
What is a significant number of T-shirts
or
beer?
Like 24 T-shirts a year.
That's more than a case of beer a month.
My God.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, the numbers that you're referencing for the other sort of subsets of the middle class and that all still come out of the same report. Just the first article is sort of the summary, which doesn't go into all the detail, but the actual full report has all of the breakdown.
I'm still looking at the Fraser Institute report for those numbers. I disagree with the summary page about how it's the middle class when they're talking about families with an income of up to $108,000. That's out of scope with how you actually need to calculate the middle tax because it's one standard deviation off the mean income. But anyway,
that's still in meeting. That is still in your definition of middle class.
Is it? I thought the mean annual income in Canada was like $40,000 when we looked this up last time.
Family,
right? That would make more sense. Family, two adult income earners.
Yeah, but not a real, cornerstone of the Liberal Party is the family.
No, the nuclear family is probably not well represented amongst the Liberal caucus.
Yeah. In fact, we're awful.
I've heard we're literally the devil. Worse than Hitler, in fact.
We're N-words.
Net taxpayers?
Nationalists?
Nazis.
Yeah.
Quite literally a Nazi.
Yeah,
literally Nazis.
Someone should probably punch us in the face.
Unrelated, but fun fact, did you know that the National Socialist Party of Germany actually paid young unwed women to have more children?
Yes, I knew
Fun fact.
And you know what? It worked.
So one could argue that the Nazis were also not in favor of the nuclear family, but that's a tangent.
After 100 episodes, we wouldn't be so fucking awkward still.
I wish you weren't so fucking awkward, bud.
I got that somewhere.
Wish you weren't so fucking awkward, bud.
That's what I said.
Yeah, but I had the drop.
Yeah, but Liberal Tim says that it's not good enough. Got to go to the drop.
Liberal Tim. All right, let's keep rolling along with the terrible segue. I got nothing. In the same vein, we're talking about taxes.
Anyway, back to Nazis.
Back to Nazis. No, that's not it. I mean, back to liberals. There we go.
So communists.
Yes,
communists. In the same vein, not specifically dealing with the middle class, but people who are espousing their love of the middle class while being definitely not like them. The finance minister Morneau is sheltering his income through 6 numbered companies. So Justin Trudeau's right-hand man in fixing all of the corporate tax cheats has 6 numbered companies that pay his income. His family business is also Morneau Chappelle, who has a very large hand in pension programs. So the people that are espousing fairness for the middle class are far from being members of the middle class themselves, regardless of how you do the math, whether it's individually or as a family. When Morneau sold his shares for his family business, the value of the shares was estimated at over $3 million at the time of sale when he ran for the position in the Liberal government. And through a blind holding company, he still has shares in his family business that are held through as a trust through one of the numbered companies that he runs out of Alberta, or that's run for him out of Alberta.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Based on the dividend value that was just paid out, Morneau Chappelle just paid out 6.5 cents per share as dividend return. So his one of the numbered companies in Alberta that holds that holds the blind trust in his name stands to gain $134,000 as a result of the dividends this year for the September shareholders payout.
Well, I guess, when you're the
6 cents
finance
earning per share.
minister, like when you're the finance minister, I guess it's really easy for you to know like where the loopholes and are, how to get around the system. So
Yeah, but we were just talking about like a court case where the expert witness was, kicked out of the case because he wasn't being, he had a conflict of interest kind of thing. And here's someone in the government who, like, parents own a trust fund company, like an investment company, and it's just this guy's in the government, like.
No, not a conflict of interest.
Well, it's not even this guy's in the government. This guy runs the finances for the government. But apparently, according to an article in the National Post, Morneau was found not to be in breach of conflict of interest as a result of his 6 numbered companies that hold money in his and his family's name, or his prior involvement in his family's company, Morneau Chappelle, which he may or may not still have ties to.
Okay.
Because he went to the ethics board and disclosed this information and said that he's not involved in day-to-day operations, but he is involved in something called
night-to-night operations.
Where's that? No. They have a nonsense word that allows him to still be involved in the operation of the company, but it's not in a day-to-day business, so it wasn't deemed a conflict of interest.
It's a blind drop. It's a blind drop. Ass to mouth.
That's not it.
No.
But I thought the Ethics Commission was busy talking to Trudeau. How did he find all the time to go and tell them about his finances?
This was when he became a minister. This was not since the government has been formed.
But this is something like, if you think about it, if you were the finance minister of a country and your parents owned like an investment company, and you're sitting there and you have a hand in or an ear to the ground when it comes to like how quickly your government is reacting to like raging wildfires in like an oil sands area, or how your government is leaning towards pipelines and stuff like this is greasy shit, man.
Yeah, I would say that if you're the finance minister, you shouldn't have a finger in any pie that has anything to do with business. Whether you're involved in day-to-day operations or whatever word it is that we can't find.
That's the most. But guys, I mean, who's better to close these loopholes than someone who has intimate knowledge of them? This guy knows all the ways that they can scam the system.
I would agree with you if Morneau Chappelle wasn't one of the biggest benefactors of the new tax scheme introduced by the Liberals. Morneau Chappelle stands to gain millions and millions of dollars off of these changes.
Yeah, but this isn't like Google going and hiring a hacker to hack their stuff to tell them how to fix it.
But this is another example of the government do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. Like we were just talking about that, the gas plant trial, where someone who has nothing to benefit is not allowed to be the expert witness, and yet they have nothing to benefit. And yet here Morneau has a chance to benefit massively, and his family, from any intel. But that's not a conflict of interest.
Well, ridiculous. And so does Trudeau, but they're not. Despite the fact that this keeps getting brought up in the House, both Morneau and Trudeau refuse to answer for their company's sizable fortunes because it's not relevant to them running the country, apparently.
Allegedly.
Definitely.
No, it's not even that. I mean, let's just be honest. The Liberals have refused to answer a single question in question period since they've gotten majority. They don't answer any question.
He has a whole question thing just for that.
The Wednesdays, yeah, but he doesn't actually answer anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Yeah, it's all wishy-washy, roundabout nonsense that doesn't mean or say any real things of value.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. There's a talking point for every topic, and regardless of what the question is regarding that topic, they just answer with the same talking point. So if you're going to talk about finances, you're going to get the finance talking point, regardless of what your question is.
Yeah, they teach the shiny pony the new trick sentence for the week, and off he goes.
That takes a lot of work to do, actually.
And he stomps his hoof and
sugar cubes all over the goddamn floor.
I will make no apologies for this approach.
Sounds about right.
All right. In the same vein, we've also got. Always funny.
It's a classic.
We've also got something from an MP we haven't heard from in a while. Minister of Small Business, Tourism,
Ralph Goodale,
and House and Government House Leader Bradish Chagger, who we haven't talked about in.
You forgot one title.
A while.
Future leader of the Liberal Party.
Oh yeah, they're going to put this woman up to be. I shouldn't assume she's a woman. That's unfair of me. They're going to put this individual up to be PM someday. Garen frickin' T it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's going to be the youngest woman prime minister that we've ever had fielded.
Well, I mean, according to Trudeau, the first female prime minister, probably.
More than likely. Kim Campbell just don't count, man.
No, because she's not a liberal.
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
I mean, I've talked about this before, but when you see the way that Chagger has been handled, I mean, she had zero experience whatsoever. She was immediately, elevated to her position in cabinet. She's a young.
So are you talking about Chagger or
multicultural-looking?
Strongly disagree. Have to cut you off right there. Strongly disagree. She is not attractive on any level. Full stop.
Bullshit. Yeah. You know damn well she's attractive enough for a politician.
She's like a 3.
Yeah.
Drunk me in college.
You look at the rest of the Liberal Party?
Okay, yeah, you make a good point.
Her hair is not as fabulous as his hair, though. But maybe
that is the high watermark.
Maybe he makes her do that on purpose so that she doesn't upstage him.
What do you suppose her socks are like? That's the real question.
Yeah, is her sock game on point or is it weak?
All right, so Chagger is in the House making ridiculous remarks this week. They want to end the consultation period for the proposed tax changes because apparently if they continue talking about it, it will make people worried. Go figure.
As it should. As it should.
Actually, I believe, did that not close today?
Yes, because they didn't hit their extension, so I believe we are now closed. There is no more opportunities for input into the... What are the Liberals calling it? The fair tax system?
I'm not calling it that.
Yeah.
So don't say Liberals.
Yeah, what is the Federal Liberal Party calling it? Yeah, so I'm pretty sure they killed the consultation period. And there was definitely a push by both the conservatives and small business groups to extend the consultation period to provide the government with additional feedback for the changes, and the government has decided to respectfully decline that because they don't want to inspire any unintended consequences by allowing people to voice their concern, because apparently people are concerned.
You mean like pissing people off and
Yeah,
losing
basically
voters?
they're pissing off small businesses and farmers.
Yeah, the more people that learned what they were proposing, the more people that got angry. And so to prevent inciting anger in the populace, they just stopped allowing people to hear about it.
But they're still going to go ahead with it, which is still going to make people angry, just later.
Oh, this is super helicopter worthy. Like,
man, we went all out on the special effects for the 100th episode.
Get to the chopper!
That's Sylvester Stallone.
Man, Lou Ferrigno is looking rough these days.
Well, when you rip through so many pairs of pants.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What's with the purple slacks
for that?
Maybe he's a liberal.
Purple slacks are weird.
Violet slacks.
Oh,
honest scientist.
Well, I guess it's no
right.
violet T-shirt, but
yeah, this is definitely on topic.
Yeah, I've had enough of this. Marty, why don't you tell us about drunk canoeing? You're the Duchess person we know. Tell us all about it.
Well, finally, the oppression against my people has ended, and we can return to our heritage right of drunken canoeing.
What an age we live in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious, though, does it extend to smoking pot while in a canoe, too, or is that still illegal?
That is questionable because pot is not legal yet because the liberals are fucking liars.
Okay.
Whoa. Hey.
Shocking.
Because smoking a joint in a canoe would probably be the most Dutch thing you could do.
That depends. Is there a hooker involved?
And wooden shoes, obviously.
Does the canoe have a red light?
Yes. But
I'm
only
not
on one side.
entirely certain yet if we're going to get reparations. Like, I think a 2-4 per Dutchman seems about right.
That's fair. That's
that is the most reasonable set of reparations I've heard from any visible minority.
It doesn't have to be like Heineken, right? It can be any beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll even... It could be a Canadian one, even. You know,
yeah, Heineken would be nice,
fine.
like in the spirit of everything, but whatever.
Right. Or Grolsch.
Yeah,
I do enjoy
also
some
good beer.
Grolsch. They have the best swing top bottles.
Yes,
they do.
All right, so they've changed the rules now so that you can legally drunk paddle, and you'll no longer have your license suspended or your car impounded if somebody finds you to be in possession of a drunk paddle. Is that the gist of it?
Yeah.
That is the gist of it.
Yeah.
Now,
which, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Go ahead, Marty.
I was going to ask, does this apply to kayaks as well? Because, like, everything just talks about canoes.
Well, and that was what I wanted to ask you about, because you're the person I know that has the watercraft license thingy that allows you to boat.
Yes, I do. I do have a boat.
So the way that I understand this applies to human-powered paddle devices, like a raft, a canoe, a kayak, etc. My understanding is it is not permissible. Presumably, my understanding is it is not permissible to be in possession of alcohol while operating a boat that has a motor.
Correct. Above, I believe that's only above 9.9 horse, though.
Oh, really?
Well, sales for boats that have a horsepower smaller than that just went up.
Because the 9.9 is big, and for those that don't know, because like you don't need a license for like a 9.9 under like a certain size, but like as soon as you get a 10 horsepower or above engine, then you need a government comes in. and steps on your
Now,
sack.
this is not legal advice because I'm not certain about that, but
Yeah, it is,
seeing as
though.
you don't need a license for, seeing as you don't need a license for anything under 10,
It's
I
illegal
would think
advice.
that would also apply to the
Drunk boating laws in Canada make as much sense as our firearms regulations. This is perfect.
Just
Perfect.
Follow the advice of the wise Kim Mitchell, and you might as well go for a soda.
Marty's very humble, but anything on this podcast is considered legal advice.
No,
Not
no,
good
it's
legal
not.
advice, but yeah.
Please don't bring us to court. We will be worse off than that Gagnon guy from the OPP that got denied to be an expert witness.
You get what you pay for. So you Patreon guys, maybe you're getting gypped a little bit, but everyone is just listening for free.
$1 a try.
All you losers that are not giving us $1 an episode, come on, give me a buck, give me one fucking
You're ruining
dollar.
the internet.
Yeah.
All right, let's do another one. We've got this is going to be fun. I think this is the first and hopefully the last time I have to do this. We have an article from the Daily Caller.
Seems
the
legit.
University of Alberta. Well, okay, so this is the reason. This is how it becomes Canadian and makes sense again, tying it all back together. The University of Alberta claims that studies say more than half of Generation Z is not heterosexual or cisgendered. Well, what? So Generation Z is anyone born after 1995 and current. And apparently the University of Alberta, someone did a study and figured out that 50% of these kids do not identify as being heterosexual or cis. And by cis, we mean like they identify with the parts that they have, not the parts that they prefer.
Correct.
Okay, so here's what I find the craziest thing about this entire article. Is that this means that Alex Jones is correct.
What do you think tap water is? It's a gay bomb, baby.
I'm glad to see that he made it onto the show for our 100th episode.
It's always nice for Alex to make an appearance.
Yeah.
We've been joking about Alex Jones for several episodes now. And then we get a truth bomb like this where it's like, yeah, he was right.
Those were jokes?
So, one of our favorite university-level educators, Jordan Peterson, makes a mockery of this study from University of Alberta, as he should, because Jordan Peterson is a solid dude that can articulate a point. But there's a bunch of stuff that jumps out to me.
You just assumed
right off the bat.
You just assumed a gender, Rand.
Oh, no, Jordan B. Peterson is the guy that got banned from the free speech thing at U of T because he refused to call people by their wrong or by pronouns other than male and female.
Okay, yeah, because this boy body person did what? You're impressed?
Exactly. So, how to act as an ally to the, wait for this, LGBTQ2 SPIA plus community.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I'm not exactly.
How did the SPCA end up with the LGBTQ people?
Who knows what the furries are up to these days?
Yeah,
I think the L's and G's are going.
NAACP
The L's
and the
IDF, the L's and G's are going. These guys.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, fine. Like, so you want to pretend you're not whatever gender because you suffer from gender dysphoria. That's fine. You're not a sane person, and no one's forcing you to be a sane person. That's fine. If you want to pretend that you're a girl, then you can pretend you're a girl all you want, provided you don't hurt anyone else and violate the non-aggression principle. I don't give a fuck. Like if you want to wear clothes that were designed for the other gender and say that you identify, like whatever, don't care.
Or design your own
doing it
clothes
to other people.
Yeah.
Right. But as far as I'm concerned, this is a violation of the non-aggression principle because they want to explicitly prioritize the rights and needs of trans, non-binary, and non-heterosexual people in policy and decision-making.
No.
Why are we putting the people that suffer from mental disorders ahead of the people that do not? Why are we prioritizing their rights and needs? Why are they not being treated equally?
Yeah.
Exactly. We need to physically remove them, so to speak.
Like,
oh, good. No one's arguing with me. Excellent. Into the helicopter.
I'm reading their 6 points right now. It's just this is wow.
Well, why don't you read them out loud for the audience? Because it's just wow,
No,
man.
it's too long. It's too long. It's too long, dude.
I got distracted.
Said.
There was an ad for ugly Christmas sweaters on the side. Good. You gotta bookmark that.
Yeah, you just save that for later.
Here we go. Sorry. Reeling it in. Reeling it in. Here we go.
Let's just look at like point 1 and point 6. So point 1 is refer to people by their name and correct pronouns as specified by the individual. The only way you can know those is to ask. It is impossible to know someone's gender or pronouns based on a person's appearance. Then, number 6 is think carefully about whether you actually need to know a person's gender. If you do, provide blank spaces for people to self-disclose in forms rather than dictate people's responses with lists of opinions. So, if step 1 is you must ask, and then step 6 is, are you sure you need to ask?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Like my inner libertarian says these people are already violating the non-aggression principle just by prioritizing their own wants ahead of everyone else's.
Why don't we just start addressing
the non-aggression principle by forcing you to call them by their term?
Why don't we start addressing people as a pronoun just based on body size, and you could be
dickhead. Oh, I guess you can't call him a dickhead.
Skinny, normal, normie, or fatty. You go, hey, fatty.
Honestly, I see this whole like
fatty has no gender.
Everybody has to be the same, and we can't call people male or female, and everyone is the same. I see all of this as the movement towards when we all get the silver jumpsuits in the future. Like you see in every movie.
Yes.
Everybody gets the generic silver jumpsuit with the boots. Y'all look the same. Y'all dress the same. That's it.
Not going like
this is the movement that gets us there.
It's like the girls get the really tight, tiny, like silver leather mini skirt. You're not going that way. We're all wearing the same, like ugly jumpsuit.
No, everybody gets the silver leather mini skirt.
You're still wrapped up in genders, man. Come on.
Man, I
don't know about you, but I'm
a cool space movie.
Nah.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So, anyway, University of Alberta and the people that work at the Institute for Sexual Minority Studies and Services, right into the helicopter, if you please.
Why is there even
like an association? One last thing: our taxpayer dollars paid for this study.
Fuck.
Yeah, I'll take another rubber duck over that.
I missed the rubber duck.
I wanted.
At least that was harmless.
Oh, it's something to show for it. A rubber duck.
Yeah.
One project by the Institute, nohomophobes.com, tracks the number of times words and phrases like faggot and dyke have been said on Twitter per day.
Yeah, which is completely useless, because how much is that is people of non-cisgender, non-binary individuals trying to take their words back?
How much is people trolling?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't care. Just get off my internet. Just go.
I wonder if anyone has the .biz.
Well, but that's
.biz. No one has the .biz.
Yeah, but what are they tracking? Because there could be perfectly like, what if there are faggots and dykes out there who are saying, "Yeah, I'm a faggot" or "I'm a dyke"?
That was the point that I was just making.
As that, yeah.
No.
Yeah. And there's no go to the website, Tim. It's literally just a counter of the number of instances on Twitter in the last 24 hours.
So like I can watch
a very sad website.
No homophobes.
Yes. And if you post things on Twitter, you can make it go up.
Yeah, but then you might get kicked off of Twitter.
Just get an icon with an androgynous-looking purple-haired individual, and you'll be fine.
Well, this is what's upsetting here is faggot is used 3 times more than dyke. So like now the dykes are going to be upset that they're not getting the usage that that faggots are. And no homo is like 1,200. So far, it's 1,206 uses today.
Surprisingly low.
Faggot is like 2,196. Dyke 795. So gay 1,217. So like if there's like if it rains a lot and like a protective dike breaks, then the dykes will catch up and the faggots will complain. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they differentiating, or are they just using like some sort of like web crawler to count words? Because
it's a word counter on Twitter. Yeah. It's
anyway,
stupid, and we're not.
No, it's interesting. It's really something to think about. Something to keep in mind, Patriots. Just
sure. Completely switching gears. Whole new set of topic. The rest of the show is dedicated to discussing this weekend's Edmonton terrorist attack, which has actually apparently been declared a real terrorist attack. And I, for one, am shocked by that.
I'm surprised.
Despite the presence of an ISIS flag, I did not expect our prime minister or our policing agencies in Alberta to decide to declare this to be a terrorist attack. So that's the first thing that shocked me.
But you say that because, like, when that guy, that 18-year-old yelled "Allah Akbar," went into a recruiting center in Toronto and started attacking people with a knife, that wasn't declared a terror attack, was it?
No, because he actually yelled "Aloha Snack Bar." It's totally different.
So that was not a terror attack?
No.
That was not a terror attack.
See, that's what you're talking about. That's why this is confusing, Andrew.
I am very confused by this. Right? I can't believe that the police and the government have all decided collectively that we're actually going to call this one a terrorist attack, where somebody tries to run over and then stab to death a police officer and then run over multiple pedestrians. I am shocked by the fact that the government and the police got together and decided this one is a terrorist attack.
It's the kind of thing you expected to go away and disappear like 20 minutes after it was first posted. You expected that news article to go away.
This happened Saturday night. We're recording on Monday night, and I saw this when I woke up on Sunday morning, and I made a remark to my wife when we were talking about it. Said I find this really odd that this has been like 12 hours, and then later on we were talking about it, and it was like it's been 18 hours. And they referenced that they caught the suspect based on his name for the U-Haul rental, but no one has released the suspect's name. I wonder what shade of beige he is. And then I was vindicated this morning by, it was a Somali immigrant. We're not going to name him because I don't think that's appropriate. I would much rather we say the name of the police officer that was stabbed. But I just thought it was, very, very interesting all day Saturday when they said that they know the guy's name, but no one was releasing his actual name.
Yeah. Usually they're very quick to do that.
Right. Normally it's very quick. And I was surprised that this was like 12 and 18 hours later and we still didn't have the name. And I saw the name this morning like a full day later that I think CTV was the first people to release the name. But I am happy to see that the constable has been released from hospital, and the other victims have all been downgraded to stable or better, with some of the pedestrians that were run over being released from the hospital as well.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that the not releasing the name is an effort on the media that to not glorify the individuals in these types of things. Unfortunately, I think it's more likely what you're implying in that it didn't meet the narrative. It doesn't meet the political narrative of the day that the media is trying to prop up, and so that's why it got suppressed. But in general,
it got sat on as long as possible to make sure that it absolutely was that guy, and there was no way that they were going to stoke anti-Muslim fears or some other nonsense about that, because Constable Cerniak has been run over and stabbed and subsequently released from hospital, and some jihadist Yes, I'm jihadist. I'm just going to leave it at that. You fill in your own expletive, figure out what I was going to say, is now in custody of the Edmonton Police Service.
You know, and it's I did expect this one to be declared terrorism because of the presence of the ISIS flag. Like that becomes pretty difficult to
yeah, that's not something that like people just have like kicking around their house by accident. Like,
yeah, yet something that's legal to be sold on and bought on eBay. Yet the Confederate flag is not.
well, that's because one is racist.
It's an excellent point.
Yeah.
Yeah, hats off, and I'm glad that the constable recovered so quickly, and all the best to him. But,
Well, just because he's been released doesn't mean he's recovered, right? That's
No, certainly. And I imagine having suffered head wounds from a knife that this will be... He will not be returning to duty in the immediate future, I don't imagine. But I'm glad that he's out of hospital. I'm glad that the other individuals that were run over have all been downgraded to stable conditions or have been released. I am thoroughly disappointed in the Minister of Public Safety. The shiniest pony released a statement. Right? That's Ralph Goodale. You got it, Tim.
Yeah.
If you say Ralph Goodale long enough, eventually.
Yeah. You shriek it long enough. Yeah.
If you say it 3 times into a mirror, he shows up and takes your guns away from you.
Takes your guns.
Oh,
exactly.
God.
So the shiniest of ponies released is a statement that we'll get to. But good old Ralph, he had to go to the Facebook and say that we condemn the bombing in Edmonton. Thoughts accompany the victims. Canada will not be intimidated by violence. And then he has a link to the PM's statement.
Holy shit, that's reassuring, eh?
I think my...
Hang on a second.
I think Ralph
the guy bombed it as well as ran over with the U-Haul?
Sorry, say that again?
I said the guy bombed Edmonton as well as ran over people with a U-Haul?
Apparently there was a bombing. And I'm not one of the conspiracy people that will tell you that this was like, it's a false flag and there should have been a bomb that didn't go off kind of thing. I think this is just Ralph on the wacky tobacco that hasn't been released to the Marijuana Control Board of Ontario yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, he's got to test it. Product testing. It's very important.
Yeah.
So you're not going out building 7 on us.
No, I'm not going out building 7. I think that this is just Ralph literally not knowing what's going on around him.
But hang on a second. But he's the Minister of Public Safety, so he would presumably be, the most knowledgeable on something like this, a terrorist attack that would be, jeopardizing public safety within this country. So he's presumably
would expect
the
that,
authority.
Yes.
But he's such an important guy.
The guy bombed Edmonton, then I can only assume that the guy bombed Edmonton.
No.
And
he's such
again,
an
that
important
goes back
guy.
to why
There's a lot going on. He doesn't have time to read details.
Exactly. He's too busy reading the reports from the Firearms Advisory Committee every week telling them to take away our guns.
Yeah. And a bombing
nobody
is
got
something
time to read
that's
about
more
bombings.
likely that he's going to use to take away our guns. Because, guns may as well explode.
What kind what kind of bomb do you think this guy used? Do you think it was nuclear?
Oh, at least.
It was definitely tactical nuclear. It was probably a dirty bomb. Maybe a suitcase bomb?
Double nuclear.
A shoe bomb. I hear those are dangerous and used by certain jihadi terrorists.
What about the always threatening underwear bomb?
Is the underwear bomb Allah approved?
I
don't know.
You got to have the magic underwear. That's no.
No, that's
fanatics. Yeah.
I think the underwear bomb's got to make it difficult for the 72 virgins afterwards. You probably want to stick with the shoe one.
Well, there's not going to be any virgins left.
Unless you're into that.
Yeah, with Hef up in there. There's not going to be any virgins left.
That's a good point. Okay, now we can get into the shiniest of pony statements. Because apparently diversity is our strength and stuff.
I mean... Fuck, I don't even know.
Yeah, where do you even start with this? It's like 4 paragraphs of utter nonsense.
All right.
Trudeau being Trudeau?
Yeah.
I mean, did he eulogize Castro again?
Okay, so here's a question. Diversity is our strength, as Andrew highlighted. Diversity is our strength. What if the what if there's a population that is very anti-diversity?
What if we were paying to import that same population here and subsidize their existence? And they didn't want to coexist with the rest of us.
Like, let's humor you. Let's humor this and say diversity is our strength. If there is a population whose entire cultural basis is on non-diversity and eliminating anything that is not their specific religion, belief, culture.
Marty, if you're going at the Scots again, I swear to God.
Yeah.
Fine. Call it the Scots.
We are good, honest people, Marty. I'm tired of you Dutch bastards. People.
I feel threatened by your little knives in your socks, and
it all
not allowed to have those.
It all started when William Orange came after Bonnie Prince Charlie, and I've been triggered ever since. Damn it!
Your assault socks are a threat to the rest of us, and government should step in and eliminate those. No, but like, if diversity is our strength, if there is another culture who is that, a high level of intolerance, where their entire culture and belief system is sort of a monoculture, how do you reconcile those?
I don't think it's possible. I think what puts us in the predicament we find ourselves in now is that we're importing a group of people who are diametrically opposed to the way of life that we've established in this country, but they are coming here for the government-subsidized welfare and Gibbs, and they are not happy with the people that they're forced to cohabitate with. I don't think you can resolve that. They will literally kill you because you don't believe the same thing as them. It's like liberals on steroids, right? Like,
yeah, but it's not like they have a religion that backs up those beliefs, do they?
Well, that's exactly it. I'm not mincing words about this. I mean, expressly, like Muslim communities in Canada, because that's where we're seeing the majority of this violence coming from. We're not seeing a lot of people running around yelling, God is great, and then shooting the place up. We're seeing them yell Allah Akbar and then shooting them place up, or showing up with ISIS flags, or running people over with the truck of peace. If you want to come and practice whatever, the U-Haul of peace. If you want to come and practice whatever religion you want to practice, like, that's fine. That's your business. Yeah. I'm not going to crap on one person's religion over another because I think most religions are stupid. But if you're going to come here and you're going to get the Gibbs, you need to assimilate into the country. And part of that is you have to respect other people's religious beliefs, and they don't have to agree with what you want. And if you can't do that, you're not welcome here.
Not anymore. Respecting people's chartered rights isn't mandatory anymore, remember?
That's right. Respecting charter rights is completely optional now. I forgot.
Yeah. Paying your taxes and jury duty are mandatory, but respecting people's chartered human rights is not. It's, if you don't want to be a dick, you do it, but otherwise, whatever.
For new listeners, the citizenship exam was modified to reflect that.
Yeah, I suppose it's important to give that information.
Modified by the liberals that are currently in power.
Correct. They changed it so that respecting the charter rights of others was was it recommended? Optional? It was optional for sure.
It was optional.
Yeah.
But you have to pay taxes and show up for jury duty. You just don't have to respect the charter.
Yes, that was mandatory.
Yeah. So the citizenship swearing-in ceremony was altered to better, literally what we were just talking about, to better cater towards the demographic that you're talking about, Andrew.
Yeah. Just call them Muslims. Like, we can just be honest about this. We're talking about people that practice extremist Islam. We're not talking about all Muslims. We're talking about people that can't allow anyone else to not follow the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. We're talking about people that cannot get along with the rest of Canada because we have lots of other religions here that all can figure out how to get along with one another. if your religion doesn't let you get along with other people, this is not the right country for you. Go to a majority Muslim fundamentalist country where that's acceptable. So that's not what we do in Canada.
And I'm going to do the generic statement. Unfortunately, we always have to hedge this, that we don't give a shit what religion you are. We don't give a shit what country you are. We don't give a shit what skin color you are.
Yeah.
You come here, you want to work, you want to respect the rights of others, you are welcome.
Exactly.
Behavior.
The problem that we're seeing is it's a specific demographic that the Canadian taxpayer is being obligated to pay for the importation of people who are diametrically opposed to the way of life of the Canadian taxpayer.
Correct.
This particular individual in Edmonton was already being investigated for issues related to potential terrorism in 2015, and the RCMP decided that there wasn't sufficient evidence at the time to charge him, which, fine, very well may have been. At the time, there wasn't sufficient evidence to charge him. But they were investigating him while he was going through his refugee claim status as to whether or not he was going to be participating in terrorism. It seems a little bit like the criminal justice system in our country failed in this case.
So when did he immigrate into Canada? We don't really know that, do we?
It is not clearly explained.
But whatever it was...
Obviously somewhere between 2015 and now.
Yeah, if you look at the cost of this individual, you know what I mean? Like what the officer... what his healthcare took, what the 4 other victims' healthcare cost, and now this individual's going to be in jail for a long time after an expensive trial, where we could end up paying for both the prosecution and defense of this individual, and then I think long-term prison holding is like over $100,000 a year.
Yeah, the average cost of an inmate is over 6 figures.
Yeah, so the average wage in Ontario is like $48,000. So these people, it's just you've taken the tax money from many multiples of that individual to pay for this individual being in our country. Yet diversity is our strength.
No, I disagree. Diversity is not our strength. A homogenous society is our strength, and anyone that tells you otherwise is being intellectually dishonest.
Homogenous society is what
no matter how many
us.
times they say diversity is our strength, show one bit of evidence that diversity is a strength of this country. Just in what way is diversity our strength? Does it improve our economy? Does it improve our security? How is it strengthening our society?
The problem is the liberal government, or liberals in general, are being intellectually dishonest when they use the phrase that diversity is our strength. There are things in our society that can be diverse that, while they do not contribute to our strength as a society, are not detractors. For example, people's religion or skin color. Those things make us diverse as a society, but they have no actual bearing on our community.
Yeah, they don't make us any better. They don't make us any worse.
Exactly. But the liberals are being intellectually dishonest when they use the language that diversity is our strength, because what they're saying is people that don't look the same make this a better country. No, people that don't look the same, it doesn't matter because they don't look the same. That has no practical implications on society. You can be purple and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, as long as you contribute.
Right. And that's where the diversity thing doesn't make sense anymore because the liberals are being intellectually dishonest. To Tim's point, the tax base, diversity amongst the taxpayers would not be our strength because we have to pay to incarcerate criminals.
Yep.
Criminals are a diverse element of society in that they are different from the tax-paying, law-abiding variety of citizenry. Yeah, how is that strengthening our society in any perceptible fashion?
Yeah.
Basically, fuck you, get out of my helicopter.
Yeah, and ultimately, what I found frustrating about his whole statement is that it was very much like, we will forget about this.
Of course we will. This is basic memory. We'll give it 2 weeks.
No, but that's
2 weeks.
That's what the Prime Minister's statement was. Is we will not let this change us. We won't let this change our opinion. We're going to keep on doing, we believe that this is a strong community that is going to forget about this. And we're all just going to, in 2 weeks from now, we're all going to forget about it and keep going with the same, failed strategies that got us to here today. That was basically what his statement was.
I'm so fucking triggered right now.
Silence.
Justin Trudeau!
Well timed.
Yeah. It's always a good icebreaker.
It is.
What religion am I? Well, I'm a practicing none of your business.
Right.
All right. No rapid fire feedback this week. Leave us an iTunes review. Send me an email. Tell me how I upset you. Something. Tim, why don't you tell everyone about the Fuck Cancer Charity Shoot 2017?
Are we allowed to say that?
Sure.
I'll beep it out later. No, I won't.
Okay, the Fuck Cancer Charity Shoot 2017 will be held at the Guelph Rod and Gun Club on October 21st, which is a Saturday. The beneficiary is a Mr. Scott H., who had stage 3 medullary thyroid cancer. It's a very rare cancer with about 180 cases a year in Canada. He had his thyroid, 76 lymph nodes removed and 2 parathyroids, and his tumor went 3/4 of the way around his neck. After that was removed, he had 35 radiation treatments, and he has lost 1/3 of the range of motion of his head and neck. And then the radiation treatments have left his lungs with chronic inflammation, which makes it difficult for him to do his job and as a general contractor. So that's who the money's going to go towards. You want to talk about the actual shoot? We're going to have 4 stages, basically with shotgun, carbine, rifle, and pistol, and
knife fights. I think is the stage 2.
Knife fights and iron sights, and it's all going to be based around. If you don't have any of the gear and you want to come out anyway, come on out, and we will give you loaners. You can buy ammunition on the day. It's all going to be staged around. So there's going to be no holster qualification required. There's going to be no sling work. It's all going to be done so that you can safely do it, even as a beginner and or as a practiced individual. You can find it on Facebook as, I think it's, what is it, Gavin? Fuck Cancer Charity Shoot?
Yeah, something like that. Or F Cancer Charity Suit, I believe, is the Facebook approved name, because they wouldn't let it.
F and a bunch of others.
No, like if you find that, but you can actually just go to like the letter F, and then cancer.
Just go to the show notes.
Certain that we've linked it from. I'm certain that we've linked it from our Facebook page. So go to facebook.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast. Hit the link.
Yeah. So capital F Cancer Charity Shoot, and it's there.
Yeah, and go like the Fuck Cancer page, and that'll have all the updates and everything.
Like and share.
Yeah.
Challenge your friends to come out, raise some money.
Make sure you follow the links to register so we have accurate head counts for both the shooting event and the post-shooting beer and chicken wings event.
Which is almost more important, because that's where you get to brag about how well you did earlier and make fun of your friends. So
Yes, and enemies.
Yeah. As always,
or frenemies.
Frenemies.
Try to put together a good, fun match. We'll have lots of great prizes on the prize table.
Yeah, some good sponsors have signed up, and hopefully we'll get some more. So stay tuned, man. Good times ahead.
All right. Gavin, where can everybody find you on the internet? Or in America?
Currently you can find me in the lovely state of Wisconsin, but otherwise you can certainly find me on Instagram at urbex_GTA.
Tim, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on the internet at timsgoodtshirts.ca or at facebook.com/timsgoodtshirts.
They're quite good.
They're quite good.
Marty, how can you get in touch with the show?
All right, you can visit us at CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. Like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/CanadianPatriotPodcast. We value your opinions, so please visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com/feedback or email us at feedback@CanadianPatriotPodcast.com and let us know what you think. And remember, you are the true North, strong and free.
That's my bit, but I'm not done. As always, my name is Andrew. You can find me with Ragnarok Tactical. I'm glad we finally discovered how to read the show notes after 100 episodes, but not quite the way that I intended. I have to apologize to Rod Giltaka. Unfortunately, we were expecting some other guests this evening that could not join us. We just didn't think we'd be able to fit Rod into such a full panel.
Yeah, big thanks
for all
to
you
Alex
Patriots
Jones,
out there in
though.
podcast land. Yeah, gotta love Alex Jones.
What do you think tap water is? It's a gay bomb, baby.
For all you Patriots out there in podcast land, I'd like to remind you that you are the true North, strong and free.